Hey everyone, and welcome back to Buzz Breakdown, where we take a closer look at the stories and trends that have got everybody talking.
That's right, we break it all down.
Exactly, we break it all
With a
down.
little bit of humor
A
and
little bit of
a
fun.
little bit of fun, yeah.
And today we've got a kind of like a double whammy of news that dropped on, get this, Friday the 13th.
Ooh, spooky.
Spooky, right? I mean, is it a coincidence or just another day in the crazy news cycle? Who knows? But we're diving into a high-profile celebrity split. A pretty surprising injury involving, well, a pretty major political figure while traveling.
So let's unpack it.
Yeah, let's unpack it, shall we? First up, we're heading over to the UK, where TV and podcast host Fearne Cotton announced that her and her husband, Jesse Wood, are separating.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Fearne's been, like a fixture in British entertainment for years and years. You
Yeah.
might remember her from, like, CBBC or Top of the Pops,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
or even Celebrity Juice.
Yeah.
Like, she's done it all.
What's really cool is how she's, moved so smoothly between all those different shows and audiences.
Right.
Like she's connected with kids, with teenagers, and with adults too.
Totally, and that just shows how, versatile she is and how much people just love her.
Exactly.
And, she met Jesse, who is the son of Rolling Stones guitarist Ronnie Wood,
Wow.
back in 2011, and they got married in 2014.
Okay.
They have two kids together, but, well, after being together for like a decade, they decided to, go their separate ways.
Yeah, it sounds like they're really trying to put their kids first during this time.
Yeah.
Their statement really emphasized that,
Yeah.
which I think is important because it shows that even when you're going through a public breakup, high-profile split,
Yeah.
you can still prioritize your family.
Absolutely. It's easy to get caught up in the whole celebrity aspect of it all. But at the end of the day, they're just parents, going through a tough situation.
Exactly.
And speaking of going through tough situations, Fern, she also recently had double jaw surgery.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. For benign tumors.
Okay.
Thankfully not cancerous.
Good.
But still, like,
That's got to be rough.
I can't even imagine going through that, especially while dealing with a separation.
It definitely says a lot about her resilience, though.
Yeah.
I mean, facing those kinds of challenges head on.
Yeah.
It's a good reminder that we don't always know what's going on behind the scenes.
Right.
Even with people who are, constantly in the public eye.
Totally. And now let's shift gears a little bit from the entertainment world
Okay.
to the world of politics.
All right.
While Fearne was going through all of that, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi was on a trip to Luxembourg
Okay.
to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge.
A very important historical event.
Yeah, and Pelosi was part of a bipartisan delegation,
Oh, wow. So that means
meaning, yeah, politicians from both major parties were there.
that's pretty significant.
It really shows how important it is to, remember and honor these kind of key moments in history.
For sure.
And she was there with, a bunch of other political figures, which highlights that, sense of unity that these events can bring.
Right.
But here's where things get, unexpected.
Okay.
After a group photo, Pelosi suffered an injury and had to be hospitalized.
Oh, no.
I know, and we don't know a lot of details yet about the extent of the injury.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a reminder that even powerful people aren't immune to accidents and, health challenges.
Of course not.
And even with this injury, Pelosi is still working from the hospital.
Wow.
And she even said that she was really bummed to miss the remaining commemorative events.
She's dedicated.
It really shows how committed she is to her job and just, 84 years old.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
Really speaks to the resilience of the human spirit.
It does. It really does.
It's kind of interesting to think about how these stories, Fearne's challenges and Pelosi's injury, they might actually reflect some bigger trends.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like where you're going with this. Unpack it for us.
Well, like, think about Fearne, right? She was really open about her separation and her health issues.
Right.
It's like part of this trend we're seeing, where people, especially public figures,
Yeah.
are being a lot more transparent.
I see what you mean. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that celebrities were expected to, like, keep their private lives totally secret.
Right. It was all about image,
Yeah.
presenting this perfect picture.
Yeah, perfect picture, perfect life.
But now it seems like more and more of them are like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm human, I struggle, I mess up sometimes.
Yeah, they're being more real.
Exactly. It's refreshing to see.
It is. It makes them seem more relatable, too.
Totally. It makes people feel less alone when they're going through their own stuff.
Right, because they see that even these people with seemingly perfect lives,
Yeah.
they have problems, too.
Exactly. Everyone's human.
And then with Nancy Pelosi, it kind of makes you think about the expectations we have for our leaders.
Yeah, especially as they get older.
Right. She's 84 and still working, still traveling for important events.
Yeah, it raises questions about how much pressure we put on them.
Do we expect too much from them?
I think it's a tough balance.
Yeah.
We want them to be active and engaged, but we also got to remember
Yeah.
that everybody has limits.
Totally.
And those limits can change over time.
Exactly. So it's about supporting them, but also respecting their, their human side.
Boundaries.
Yeah, their boundaries. And maybe even like stepping back as a society and thinking about,
Yeah.
what we expect from them.
Do they really need to be on all the time?
Pushing themselves to the max?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe we should value a bit more balance.
Yeah, well-being, experience, the wisdom that comes with age.
Yeah, definitely food for thought.
It is. And speaking of choices and finding a good balance,
Yeah.
let's go back to that Spotify Premium APK thing for a second. This whole trend of getting premium stuff for free,
Yeah.
it's not just about Spotify, is it?
It's everywhere.
Right, whether it's music or software.
Yeah, or even just everyday products.
Everyone wants a good deal.
It's like the era of the life hack.
Exactly. Finding ways to get around limits, get extra features.
Yeah, without spending a ton of money.
Have you ever been tempted by one of those free offers?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Who doesn't love a freebie?
Right. But, like we talked about earlier,
Yeah.
got to be careful. There can be consequences.
Yeah, using those modified APKs or whatever,
It can be risky.
you can open yourself up to, security problems.
Privacy issues, too.
Yeah, for sure. And besides all that, there's the ethics of it all.
That's a good point. When we get premium stuff for free through, unofficial ways,
Yeah.
it's like we're saying that the work those creators did, the developers, doesn't have any value.
Yeah, it's like sneaking into a concert instead of buying a ticket.
Exactly. You might enjoy the show,
Yeah.
but you're not supporting the artists.
The people who made it possible.
And in the long run, that hurts everybody.
Yeah.
Less money for creators, higher prices for the rest of us.
Yeah, and the quality of stuff might go down too.
So what do we want our listeners to think about here?
Yeah, what's the takeaway?
It's about finding that balance, right?
Okay.
Between getting a good deal
Yeah.
and being a responsible consumer.
Yeah.
Sometimes, free isn't better.
Yeah.
Sometimes investing in the things we care about is the best way to go. It supports creators.
Yeah.
And it helps keep those services running.
It's a win-win.
Exactly. And I think that's a great point to wrap up this part of our discussion.
It is. It's been a really interesting look at how people adapt and show resilience in so many different ways.
It has.
But we're not done yet. We'll be right back with the final part of our deep dive, where we'll leave you with a question.
A question to ponder.
Something to really think about. And we're back for the final part of our deep dive. Today we've gone over some pretty fascinating stories. Fearne Cotton's separation, Nancy Pelosi's injury, and even the whole Spotify Premium APK thing.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. But even though these stories seem, kind of separate on the surface,
Yeah.
I think there's a common thread running through them all. What do you think?
Absolutely. I think we've been talking about resilience and adaptation
Yeah.
and how to handle all the unexpected stuff life throws our way.
Right, like how to roll with the punches.
Exactly, because whether it's personal challenges or, setbacks or even just making decisions in this crazy digital world,
Yeah.
these themes are things we all deal with.
Totally. It's like we're all just figuring things out as we go.
Learning as we go.
Adapting, making the best of it.
And sometimes, those detours,
Yeah.
they lead to amazing discoveries and growth.
Right. When we think about Fearne being so open about her life,
Yeah.
it really challenges that whole old school idea
Yeah.
of how celebrities are supposed to act.
Right. They're supposed to be perfect.
Yeah, perfect and private.
But she's being real. Yeah.
And vulnerable,
It's a new kind of authenticity
and it connects with people.
on a deeper level, for sure.
And with Nancy Pelosi's situation, it makes us think about, how much we ask of our leaders.
Yeah, especially as they get older.
Right. Respecting their boundaries, their well-being, recognizing that no one can do it all.
And even that Spotify thing,
Yeah.
it's about choices,
Right. Making good choices.
weighing the risks and the benefits.
Yeah. Being ethical even when it comes to, our online stuff.
Exactly. It's about that balance
It's what?
between convenience and responsibility.
I like that. Convenience and responsibility.
And I think that's a really important takeaway for everyone listening today.
Yeah.
As you're going through your own life, making your own choices,
Yeah.
remember that resilience
Yeah.
And adapting.
Being able to adapt.
Those are key. Embrace the
The
unexpected.
curveballs.
Learn from your experiences.
Yeah.
And make choices that, really reflect what you believe in.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that brings us to the end of our deep dive for today.
It does.
But before we sign off, we want to leave you with a question.
A question to ponder.
Something to really get those wheels turning.
What if we all try to see the connections
Okay.
between things that seem totally random?
Like the stories we talked about today.
Exactly. What kind of patterns?
Yeah.
What bigger truths might we find?
That's a great question. It encourages us to stay curious,
To look deeper.
to see beyond the surface.
The world is full of surprises.
It is, and we're here to help you unpack them.
So don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell.
So you don't miss our next deep dive.
We'll be back soon with even more interesting discussions.
Until then, keep those brains buzzing.